I'm gonna say it right here on the whim. The Denver Nuggets, as it stands today, are the biggest threat to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Going for Two. I am Q1 Humphreys, and today we're talking about the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets, a team that had a very tumultuous ending to their last season. Lost in 7 games to the Oklahoma City Thunder, who will go on to become NBA champions. And there were a bunch of question marks heading into this offseason. Heading into the offseason, there were questions about what was going to happen with Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray most likely was going to stay. What was going to happen with Michael Porter Jr.? How was this team going to get themselves back into contention? Let's talk about how they did it. First off, they traded away Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson. I think they traded Michael Porter Jr. and a future second-round pick. I think 2031 second-round pick, 2031 first-round pick, or whatever. Traded them away and got back Cam Johnson. Now, Cam Johnson was one of the most sought-after players that was made available via trade all over the league. There were a bunch of teams surrounding the name Cam Johnson. And I think the Denver Nuggets getting him is going to be just an immediate impact. You know, Michael Porter Jr., we know what he was. He was big in their 2023 NBA championship run. He's a sharpshooter, but defensively, he's really, really bad. He's not going to give you anything defensively. And we saw in the series against OKC, he would find himself not on the court because he was not playing well on the defensive end. Now, I know this year is kind of tough because he did have that. His shoulder was hanging off the bone. His shoulder was hanging off the bone throughout the playoffs, and he still played through it. And naturally, with the injury like that, you're not going to be consistent at all. But Cam Johnson, I do love the addition of Cam Johnson because Cam Johnson brings more efficiency. He brings a help on the defensive end as well. You know what I'm saying? I just love the move. And you get to get off of that big contract that Michael Porter Jr. is getting. But along with bringing in Cam Johnson, they go out and get Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown played a big part in their championship win in 2023. They let him go. They let him walk in belief that Christian Brown, who plays now for them, would step up to be that Bruce Brown role. Now, Christian Brown has been really good, but Bruce Brown, you can't go wrong with two of those kind of guys, with two of those kind of glue guys that are going to do the dirt work, going to play defense, going to hit the open three-point shot in the corner. It's just a really good move bringing Bruce Brown back, especially on a vet minimum. Now, another move that it kind of went under the radar, but they added Tim Hardaway Jr. On a 1-year deal. Now, Tim Hardaway Jr. was big time in the resurgence of the Detroit Pistons last season. Just that sharpshooter, the shooting that he brings, especially when Cade Cunningham was out with injury for a time. Tim Hardaway Jr. was putting up 20 points a game, 18, 20 points a game without Cade Cunningham. I think putting that on the court with Jokić, with Jamal Murray, with Aaron Gordon, all these guys is going to be big. And I fully expect this team to be back in contention next year. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm going to say it right here on the whim. The Denver Nuggets, as it stands today, are the biggest threat to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Why do I say that? Because Denver pushed them to 7 games last year. Only team in the playoffs to really, I'm sorry. The Pacers pushed OKC to 7-2. But Denver pushed them boys to 7 games. And I guess we can't talk about hypotheticals because Tyrese did get hurt in Game 7. But Aaron Gordon was out there on one leg, basically. You know what I'm saying? He would have made an impact in that Game 7. We don't know what would have happened. But I look at the roster that they had last year. I look at everything they went through. They fired Coach Michael Malone 7 games before the playoffs started. Brought in an interim coach, and the interim coach, he's a great coach. He had them jokers playing. I think they might have had the best defense against OKC in the playoffs. They just did a really good job at taking. Shea did not have the games that he had. He played good later on in the series, but for the majority of that series, it was really quiet from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's standards. But you pushed them to 7 games. And my thing is, what was the issue? What was the problem with the Denver Nuggets all year long? They had no depth. You had Jokić, the best player in the world. You had Jamal Murray, who came on stronger later in the season. Aaron Gordon played great last year. Michael Porter, was inconsistent last season. Christian Brown, I think Christian Brown played well for what he's supposed to do. He's not supposed to be this guy that just fills up the scoreboard. He's gonna do what the other guys don't do. He's gonna play defense. He's gonna dive on loose balls. He's gonna play defense. He's gonna rebound the ball. I said play defense twice, but that's what he's gonna do. I love it. But I think the thing with that is after that 5 came out, Russell Westbrook, there were times when it's like this is the Russell Westbrook experience. He's either gonna be really good, he's gonna be really bad. He's gonna make a hustle play, get a crazy offensive rebound that leads to a 3-ball, and then next possession he's gonna do a dumb turnover. You know what I'm saying? Peyton Watson, not the best. Can't hit the 3-ball. Good defensively, can't hit the 3-ball. Jordan Strother, he gave him a great game 6 against OKC. Gave him a great game 6. Came in and gave him 15 points. But that's not consistent. There was no consistency in that. And we saw last year, Jokić was having crazy numbers. Jokić had, I think he had a 50, 20, and 10. It might have been 60, 20, and 10 game. And they might have lost. You know what I'm saying? Just because there's no depth. No depth at all. And I think going out and making no moves to bring depth in is going to be big. Going to be big time because Bruce Brown is going to be a good piece to add. Tim Hardaway Jr. I'm really excited to see how he plays. I'm really excited to see how he plays off the bench. Really excited. There's also a move. They traded for Jonas Valančiūnas. Now, Jonas Valančiūnas, I think that would have been a good move too, but there's word that he's going to take a deal to play overseas. So he probably will not be on the Nuggets this year. I don't know. I don't know what the update is or whatever on that. But Jonas Valančiūnas is something that I think the idea of having a backup center is something we've never seen from the Nuggets. You know, because they always have DeAndre Jordan come in after Jokić checks out. DeAndre Jordan, he's just not that good anymore. You know? So Jonas coming in could be manageable minutes without Jokić at the center position on the floor. You know, so we have to wait and see what happens with that. Maybe something happened, but with me sitting down recording this video, I have not seen no news about the Jonas Valančiūnas trade or what he's going to do, whether he goes overseas or not. But like I said, I legitimately think that the Denver Nuggets should be the top threat for OKC. Now, the West is going to be really stacked. We don't know what's going to happen because you do have San Antonio. You do have Houston. You know, you got teams like that. Dallas. You know, I know Kyrie just got on a stream and said don't expect for him to be back next season. But, you know, Dallas, they still have the size and everything. You got Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? But I do think with these moves, these moves are you going for it. These moves are you saying, okay, bet, we're going to try and get this done. We're gonna try to build a team around Jokić and get this done. You know, because I think the big thing with Jokić was that there were times when Russ would be sitting in a corner and Jokić would try as hard as not to swing that ball to him because he didn't trust him to hit that shot. Now I ask you this. Take Russ out and put in Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Jr. is a way better option for that corner 3 late in the game because Jokić is still a guy. He's still a guy that you cannot defend one-on-one. You got to send help. You got to send help or he's gonna kill you. But him having weapons around him, it just opens up his game. It opens up his offense because we know Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray plays off of Jokić. He struggled in that series against OKC too. But a big thing that OKC was able to do, they was able to not at all guard half of the guys out there. I think game 7, Russell Westbrook came in and whoever was guarding him was sitting in the paint, 2 feet in the paint, guarding Russell Westbrook. You know, I wouldn't mind bringing Russell Westbrook back, but I just feel like you got to have more options on the floor. You got to have more options when it comes to putting guys around Jokić because this is a guy that's going to make everybody else better. But if he's trying to get downhill, if he's trying to dig and post up, he cannot have 3 guys ready to go and help because they're not worried about the shooters. So I think these moves are going to we got to see. We got to see. But I do think this team is going to be, I'm not going to put no seeding on it because, you know, we don't know how the season's going to look. But I think as currently constructed, this is the team that has the best shot to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder and stop them from going back to back. So, man, make sure y'all hit the subscribe button, man. Make sure I hit the subscribe button. Like, we are 4 subs away from 200. Y'all showed a bunch of love on the Hawks video. I want to do more kind of just talking about specific teams and their moves rather than talking about a bunch of the free agency in total. So hit the subscribe button, like, comment. Tell me about how you feel about Denver Nuggets. Am I forgetting about somebody when I say they're the best threat? Let me know. Just chop it up with me, and I'm going to respond back to you. But until next time, going for 2. We out of here. Yeah.